Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. So yesterday we worked on starting scripting this cinematic here, right? So this is like the one way of triggering it is up at the top if we walk up his stairs, and basically he's going to give us a little spiel here, and then he gives us a fire element, and that's where we ended. So I still want to touch up this bright side, this kind of shiny element glow, but I like this kind of vignette effect we've got for this. You know, we might need to pause Mage while he does this, so it's not so distracting, and maybe do a new one of these. But we basically need a dialogue box to pop up here and say, hey, you've got the Flamma element, you can equip it and start spellcasting, something like that, to kind of signal the player that that's what it's for. And then once we have the mage walk away, we have to do the second optional way to trigger this cinematic, which is walking downwards. So if we try to walk outside before we try walking up, then our player needs to walk up and to the right and then over here and then do basically the same exact thing. So we need to do stuff slightly different for the bottom trigger. So we'll see how far we get with the other one, because we're on the road to finishing the demo, and we've got 3 weeks. We got 3 weeks left in March for our April 1st deadline. So still trying to shoot for that deadline as good as I can. Once we finish the cinematic, we need to have some overworld tiles and then kind of build out our first dungeon, and then figure out where the loot goes, and then we need to figure out how to trigger a cinematic based on a loot puzzle, essentially. So we've got to get going, so let's do that. So we have this called top trigger, right? So once we do this show off, we're setting this vignette, we're rendering the vignette, then we render our bright side, which is that kind of like shiny picture, and then the player. So I do want to modify bright side just a bit. I think it's too many pixels, it's a little distracting. But also when we do this show off, I'm noticing there's like a one frame where we render the treasure here. So like we turn to step 8, we set our treasure in step 8, but that would only happen, see, this is an else if block, so once show off is true, it exits the block. It doesn't set treasure X and Y just yet, so we need to set it off screen so that the very first frame it shows up, it's not off screen or on screen. Yes, we need to make sure it's not on screen the first frame, it's on here. So when we go to render this, we need to set the treasure X and Y to 0 once we kind of initialize it, like right here, and then that'll fix us seeing like the one frame of it. Okay. And then we need to basically add another dialogue box as well to trigger once Flamma comes on. So the dialogue, I don't really like how the dialogue system currently is being triggered. It's a little bulky. But basically we have to know which dialogue ID is supposed to be triggered with this. So we need to give another dialogue ID, right? So we're gonna put 15 here. There's 15 in this scene. And we're gonna replace the text with you got, or you you were entrusted, I don't know. This is Flama element. That's all I'm going to say for right now. Oh, and you know what? No, this is okay. I do want to change, you know, I'll get rid of the taxes line because I showed the game to somebody today and still had the taxes line in there, and I didn't even explain it. I was just like, okay. So this can be dangerous if you're careless. I'll say, but you'll need it for your adventure. Or journey. Okay, so when we go to trigger this cinematic here, we need to do this new dialogue box. And it is, dude, I was just there, I swear. It's 14. So it's not 14 because we're already rendering a dialogue 14, so that's a little weird. Oh yeah, 15 is the one we just added. Okay, so 15 is the one. Okay, so here's how we do it. We're in a show off. Now when we make the dialogue instantiation, we have to kind of say, okay, well, our active dialogue ID is set. We clear the text. Flush text will clear all the line results and all the pages from the current page of dialogue or the line of dialogue. And then the button count, make sure it activates the dialogue because it needs to have at least a button count of 1 to render the first page essentially. And button count is like when we collide on a dialogue box to pop it up and talk to it, the button press while it's being pressed, while it gets updated, we need to count that button count so that we can advance the text. So we need to set this to 1 here because we can't index a 0 value, so we have to make sure it's button count 1. I guess we could add the button count to the flush text, but that's actually not right because then it would break any dialogue box that we have to interact with, so I can't do that. But we initialize it. We need to advance our step at this point so that we can update it. So we're going to say the step is now equal to 9. Okay, and then what we do here is we have to do 2 things, right? We check before we update if we have finished printing that line of dialogue. And then if we have finished that line of dialogue, we advance our step. I'm still figuring out the best way to do this, but basically once we're done advancing, show off will become false so that we can stop rendering all the show off stuff, right? So let's see if that advance works, and let's see if the dialogue box we added starts rendering, saying this is the Flama element. So we're going to trigger our cinematic here, blah blah blah. Okay, this can be dangerous if you're careless, but you'll need it for your journey. Okay, son of a bitch. We're rendering it under the vignette, so we could draw the vignette not as high as the dialogue box. Yo, Salto, what up? Yo, I'm doing good. I'm just sleepy. I'm just sleepy, man. I mean, it's my fault for streaming at 11:40, but we had a movie night with some friends, and we watched the new Lord of the Rings animated movie, so it was a fun time, but I'm also just like super tired. But hoping to finish at least one of the opening cinematics. You know, if we finish the top one and get started on the bottom one, cool, you know. We did advance. Oh my god, we did advance the dialog box off, but we need a space right here. We're still not doing that correctly. Okay, let's try to cut off the if we look at our dialog box object and we go to the render, we're setting it here at a right here, screen height limit -40. So if we trim off, yeah, I liked it. I feel the same way, Salto. I think my biggest issue with it was the bad guy. I think it's just like so flat of a bad guy. So I think that was my big issue with it. But overall, did like it. Screen height limit -40. I just hate when it's like when the bad guy is just so fucking stupid, like the whole movie, and it's like I don't buy it, and it's stupid, and I don't care, you know? Virtual height, virtual screen limit? What was it? Screen height limit -40. Jeez, okay. Screen height limit -40. So when we render our vignette here, we're gonna do it at a screen height limit -40. That's where we need to stop rendering it. God dang it, what is the screen height limit? It's a virtual height -16. What's a virtual height? 144. So 144 -16. Yeah, I liked how he looked. Like, he was bangable, but like, I just, dude, so like, first of all, his dad, spoilers if you haven't seen the movie though, right? Just gonna throw that out there. You know, when his dad challenged the king to a fight, and then his dad gets his ass proper kicked, and then he throws a fit over it. It's like, dude, your dad challenged this guy to a freaking fight. He lost fair and square, and now you're just gonna spend the rest of your life ruining it because you can't handle your dad was a loser? Like that. That's it. Oh, yeah, that's it. That's my issue with it. So 128 is the Y, so that's how tall. Yeah, 128. I'm just gonna code that because I'm gonna forget that. I'm just gonna say height to dialog box. Yeah, that's yeah, like I don't think I'm even oversimplifying that even. Like, that's kind of all it was. I mean, that and getting turned down by the girl, but like, yeah, I mean, he was just a fucking big baby the whole time, so I didn't really care for that. Okay, yeah, we don't draw it with a virtual height. We're gonna draw it with a height to the dialog box, and then that will give the illusion of it not being. I know. Yeah, whatever, man. He was an idiot. When I was watching the movie, I'm like, it's Tashio's girlfriend. Tashio's girlfriend is on screen. The gingers found their match. Okay, this can be dangerous if you're careless, but you'll need it for your journey. Fuck, we didn't do it. X, Y, width, and height. We draw it. Why did this not work? Why did this not work? We set the color. This is the vignette. Did we not save it? Height to dialog box, 128. Our whole virtual height is a 144, so it should cut. It should cut before X and Y 00. Width Yeah, this should be right. Let's try the hard-coded 128 and see. I'll just do 120 for testing. We should see it different. Yeah, but overall, I liked it. I thought it was good. But I you know, I can't help but compare it to like, what the flip? Okay, I mean that's better, right? Why is 120? Why was that so not the right height? We need 144 is the height, and we need to subtract the height of the dialog box. So, oh yeah, because it's not, okay, no, that makes sense. Okay, so in our dialog box, we're gonna have, you know, this is a 40 pixel tall dialog box. So we just need to take the height minus 40. And then let's add a little bit more text to the Flamma. Okay, this is a Flamma element. I don't know what else I would say about this. This is a Flamma element. You can cast spells. I know, yeah, and that's the thing too. You know, like I can't really compare it to Lord of the Rings. You know, it's just unfair to compare anything to Lord of the Rings. But when I was watching the, you know, like the scene where she's like riding her horse through the forest, I just can't help but think of Princess Mononoke and like how good the chasing through the forest animation looks in that movie, like unparalleled. That like it looked straight up bad in Lord of the Rings, but Mononoke, you know, that came out what 22 years ago or whatever. That movie still holds up perfect. So whatever. That's so lame. Equip it in order to cast spells. So it'd be like... Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's... Yo, what's up, Loki? I think it's because Miyazaki pays so much attention to the storyboards, right? Like on the Blu-ray for Mononoke, he's got like a storyboard version, and it just plays the whole movie with just the storyboards. And it's like, dude, that's the movie, even though it's, you know, hundreds of thousands or millions of frames short of the final product. It gets the point across perfectly. So it's like he just is a master of knowing what's necessary. And then once you get the heart of it, then, you know, then you hire a bunch of poor animators who have to do little squiggles. Yo, nice, Loki. Nice. Good job, dude. Yeah, I want to see was it? Yo, are you the one? I thought Squinge was the one on Discord sharing the card game. Are you also doing a card game, or did I get you two mixed up? Because you guys got different... I think you guys got different usernames on Discord, right? Oh, okay, okay. So maybe it was Squinch. I think Squinch is also doing a card game. Okay, okay. So yeah, I think it is Squinch. He's also doing a card game. And are you doing it in Love and Lua? Okay, we totally jacked this up. Why is the height of our vignette not 40. You can cast magic like a boss. Okay. Let's take a look at our dialog box again. Do we have a height? If we look at the render, box color. Okay, it's 80 because we draw it from a Y of higher than 40. No. Cool. MMO Aeon. I don't know what that is, but I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Cool. Well, if you ever get a demo or anything, or want to share the current build on Discord, I'd love to check it out. Okay, I don't get why. Do we have to scale this? Oh, I think we have to scale this by the virtual resolution? No. Screen height limit -40. Okay. I don't know. It looks totally wrong when it's only 40 pixels tall. Let's try 80 and see. $144 should be the bottom, -40. Yeah, so if we do a 144 minus 80 pixels from the bottom as a height. And maybe, why am I thinking about this so weird? Sweet. Cool, nice. You're about the same stage I'm at with this, where I'm like, well, I've got the pieces right, but just need to make the parts for the demo build, add a couple of levels and whatnot. Son of a bitch, why does it look wrong by 40 pixels now? Okay. Maybe we just didn't save it. I don't know. It should be 40 because the dialog box is 40 pixels. So we're looking for that. And then we also have to change our animation back to idle down. Shit, man. Why is it so fucked up? Unless we messed up the virtual height. Yeah, we need to give a much shorter. Fuck. No, still jacked up. It's always got to be like this. It's always got to be like this. Okay. So yeah, we're rendering the vignette at the very top left. Width is correct. Height is going to be, 40 pixels for a dialog box. So let me just see something. Right? Like, I just want to draw a rectangle at this location. Only, if we give it a virtual height, I think it's just 104, which is 144 minus the 40. So if we try to do this, we say just give us a 104 height triangle. or a rectangle. Yeah, it's just so wrong. So what? It's not this size. It cannot be this size. So when we go to render it, we're rendering it as a 40 high thing. Yeah, man. Yeah, because we say go to the bottom of the screen. Oh, virtual resolution. Oh. Let's try the screen height limit minus 40, not. Let's try that. So the reason this is like this, well, let's see if it works first. Yeah, that should be it. Okay. Screen height limit minus 40 is what we need. But I don't like this. I think we need to change the show off to be true in the middle of giving the element, because there's like a frame of jacked up render it does there. So when we go, we want to change to show off if the current page is past whatever current page. You know, we need to add the text to the same previous dialogue. So let's just see if the colors are working, and then we'll count how many pages we need to start putting it on there. So once he walks up to us, okay, so he says 1 page, this can be dangerous. 2 page, you'll need it. So if the current page is equal to 3, why, dude? Shit, the thing is wrong. Virtual height, yeah, it's screen height limit. Minus 40. Okay. So we'll put that there. Now, if current page is 3, we've got to add. So we'll add this, but you'll need it for your journey. Then we'll add a new page and say, you got the Flama element, right? Now, instead of going to advance the next dialog box 15, we're going to say if our current page is equal to 3, we're going to show off. So yeah, instead of doing this 15, let's hold off on the step 8. Well, actually, yeah, we still need to advance it. If we're step 8, we're gonna this is jacked up. This is jacked up. Okay. Okay, so we're in step 7. We're updating our dialog box 7. So we need to check if our current page. So we're going to snag this. Okay, we're going to say active dialog ID, current page. It should have a current page. If it's equal to 3, then we want to show off true. So self show off gets true, and then we need to say we need to take this off screen. Let's just do by a negative tile size, because we don't want to see this at a 0, 0 for 1 frame. We're just going to do a negative tile size for the X and Y. And we're going to become show off true. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Show off true's here. And then it cycles through. Oh, this is only a finished printing. That isn't right. We have to do this right here. Current page 3, not finished printing. So if current page if the current page is equal to 3, then we're going to do this, and then we need the end, which is asking if we've finished printing. And this needs to go first. Yeah, so in step 7, if our dialog 14 has finished printing, then we're going to go to a step 8. Right now, step 8 doesn't do anything. We'll leave it for now as nothing. Okay, so we added the Flamma text to the previous dialog box, and then once we're on a specific page of the dialog box, we're going to become show off, which should then change our animation, which we should probably just do that here. We say our animation is now show off. Let's see if this works. I need to cut down this text just so we can get through it faster. Okay, so this should be current page 3 right here. Nice. We're not rendering Flamma, and we're not rendering the rest of the dialog box or updating it. We are updating it. If it doesn't equal 3... I think we've got to hard code this. I don't know. Okay, we need to render Flamma, which, why is it not rendering? We do that if we show off, we render Flamma. Oh, we need to adjust our treasure X and Y once it's done. So we need to initialize treasure X, Y off screen, and then we give it the proper treasure X, Y values, which is right here. So let's initialize this off screen instead of where we got it. We don't have it in the init or anything. Okay, so do we have it? We don't have it. We just need to add it to the init. Okay. It'll be initialized off screen, and then we trigger it. And before I go any further, let's just do map declarations, and we'll go to our bottom here where we do this one. We're gonna say now that is gonna be just a one-page thing. Okay, let's try it. There we go. We're not updating our dialog box for some reason. So are we doing something? It's close though. It's close. We're looking for this. You know, we see, you know, how do we update it here based on the active dialog ID from our scene view. Oh, you know what? Yeah, it's not in step 7. Oh, it's the previous one. It's the previous one. It's not 14, it's 13, right? No, it is. It is. Shoot. Because, yeah, this we tween, then we advance, so this is the next dialog box, so it's right here. It's before we switch over. We switch over to step 7. So this is our new 14 dialog box ID. Oh, we do, well, what the heck? Yeah, If our active dialogue ID does not equal nil, let's go ahead and update the dialogue page. But the thing is, we need it current. We need it advanced. Yeah, we need advanced. I think it's 13 on this. 13 on the index for this one. 14. It is 14. Okay, so step 6 is the 14. Now, if we do this show off just renders a couple different things like the vignette and the bright side, but it shouldn't change. Oh, yeah, let's not advance the step here. Yeah, do not advance the step because we still need to update. Okay. And then if we finish printing, that's when you advance the step. Yeah. Okay, so that should work. Okay. You got the Flamma element. Great. Nice. Okay, so we need to become show off false right here. And we also need to change our player's animation to be idle upwards. Let's see that in action. You got the Flamma element. Cool. And then we can continue another thing. Yeah, I think we continue the same dialogue box, so we have to do another line of dialogue in the 14 here. So let's just do that. It'll be placeholder, map, declarations. This is a Flamma element. You can now cast. No, this is wrong. Okay, we don't want that one. This is this. You got the Flamma element. Then the next page. Next page is gonna be I have important work to finish. And then, like, I'll find you. I don't know, what can he say? I'll find you later. Smell you later, homie. I'll find you, or... I have important work to finish. I'll find you when you're ready for your next lesson. Okay, so now, you know, if it's a current page of 3, we're going to do this. But if it's a current page of 4, we need to turn off this stuff. Show off and idle up. Then we will update our dialogue ID. Then when we advance to the end, then we update to step 8. So let's try that. I have important work to finish. I'll find you when you're ready for your next lesson. Okay, cool. Sweet. Okay. I think I want to change mage idle to idle instead of walk once we get Flamma. So once we're in show off, we also want to change mage to the idle down. Just so he's not moving while we get Flamma, and then we will put this in the next step. When we go back to idle up, we're going to go to walk down. or mage. Let's see if that works. You got the Flamma element. Yes. Cool. Okay. Oh, I didn't see if he stopped moving. I think he did. Yeah, he did stop moving. Cool. And then he goes back to his little staff. Okay. I have important work to finish. I'll find you when you're ready for your next lesson. Cool. We advance the text. Then he needs to walk his old ass back upstairs. And then he's going to unleash a little magic wall barrier that's going to prevent Tashio from going up there. I have not thought about how I'm going to trigger that just yet, actually. We have a collidable object table. We can probably just... all we have to do is render a particle system at the right location, and then we'll insert into a collidable map object in our current scene. 2 tiles worth of tiles right there blocking the stairway, kind of forcing the player to go down out into the entrance. And the entrance, I think, will have... we'll color brighter gray to signify that the next screen is outdoors, kind of like our windows. They're kind of bright. Okay. So we're gonna tween Mage's ass back upstairs. So we can do that by snagging a tween here. And we advance to a step 8. Step 8's not doing anything yet, so we're going to go. Step 8 is going to tween over the course of 2 seconds. Mage's Y to be a negative tile size. But also, as we change to a step 8, we need to change our Mage's animation to walk up, and then we tween him out. Now we need to basically stop and clear the timer so it doesn't get locked, and we can do that by saying, if our Mage's Y position is actually exactly equal to the negative tile size, meaning the tween finished, then we're going to timer.clear out our tween and then advance our step. Then once we're in this step, why do we have this? Yeah, once we're in this step, we're gonna basically change back to play state or whatever, right? Or trigger. We can trigger the particle system for Mage's locked door probably at that point. So he's going to do his old thing, and then he gives us the element, and then he should tween upwards after this. Nice. Oh, perfect. Sweet. Okay, so we need to ignite. We need to ignite a particle system here. We're still in a player cinematic, so we cannot move. So we would probably at this point do a state change from our player to a player idle. I think it's like this. Okay, let's see if that works. Player idle just waits for, wrong one. Player idle waits for input and then walks our player. So let's see, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Is it a state? Yeah, change state. He changed. Yeah, player idle. Okay, we must have. We're still in the state of a cinematic. Yeah, no. We changed state to player walk, not animation. So change state to player idle. Okay, well, then we would need to change the state machine. Okay, before we do this, let's say we're going to change our player animation to idle up. Now we need to do this particle system for mage's spell here. So I think what I'm going to do... is kind of look at our, you know, it's kind of like the one at the beginning for the opening cinematic. So let's just copy that one. We should have as a starting point at least, right? So it's called particle system. 1 or 2? 1. I think it's 1. No, 1. I think 1 is the staff. Let's see. P system. Yeah, P system 1 is attached to the mage, so P system 2 is the Tashio particles. Yes, so we'll put the particle system update here in a step, and we'll say, you know, for step 9, let's go ahead and update this particle system. We'll get rid of this too. Okay, we need to define this to the start point, which is P system. Okay, it's 100 particles. So it is a new particle system with a particle. Particle is literally just a 1-frame pixel. So our particle, since we're doing a Game Boy game, is just a tiny 1-pixel particle. And then we use all of the features to kind of update it. And I'll show what that looks like, because we have in opening cinematic, we should have a P system 2 update. And then a P system 2 render. What, you're not rendering them? Where are we rendering the particle system here? Right here. Okay, so basically we only want to render this in the right step, right? Are we a step? I don't remember what. Step is equal to something. It's just a Love Graphics Draw particle system. Okay, what step is it? Nine. If our step 9, we're going to draw that particle system. So let's see what it looks like. It should be right when mage goes up off screen. It'll trigger it. Let's see. Blah 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 blah. Cool. So we need this particle system to be up where the door is. So we have this. Let's look at where we're updating it and moving it. Yeah, we don't want it to be the player. We want it to be at the top of the door, which is going to be, if this is going to be tile size 1 is right here. So tile size times 2 is right here, 3, 4. So tile size times 4 is the X starting position. And then a Y of a tile size, actually just, tile size, that's it. Okay. Then we're going to set an emission area of 32, right? Tile size times 2. I'm going to set a linear acceleration, maybe just a more powerful one, and maybe a more powerful emission rate since it's a bigger area. The colors might be okay. Let's see. See, and it'd be nice, it'd be nice if we just say, okay, let's trigger step 8 and just go right to it. But, it depends since we're tweaking the value of the mage and stuff. It's just a little weird. So, whoa. Oh, nice, dude. Okay, it is totally wrong on the emission area. Well, we move it here to a tile size times 4. Then we set an emission area. Yeah, so this, we should move it to here. An emission area is this should be it. I'm going to set a much higher emission rate. Let's see what that looks like. Shit. Totally wrong. Why is it doing that? We move the particle system to an X of tile size times 2. Why? Oh, tile size times 4 is where we need to start. Okay. And then an emission area. Let's try giving it just a 1 tile size emission area. I don't know what that looks like. Okay. So he walks up, then we should see the particles go behind him here. It's a little off. Shit. I want it to look like a force field of magic, but it must be a tile size times 5 starting point. Okay. No, it's really weird. It's really weird that it starts. It does like a whoosh of initial particles, and then it's continuous. I've never liked that. Every particle system I've seen has been doing that. Probably because I'm just copy and pasting the code for it. But let's say, hey, we're not waiting for mage to trigger in order to do this stuff. We're just gonna do it right here. Doesn't work. That's weird. Well, I guess we're not, yeah, we're rendering it only in step 9, so let's just say, you know what, we're just rendering it, period. What the heck, man? Okay, renders there. See, why does it do that initial flush and then... I don't want it to do it only... Well, I guess it has to wait till we trigger it. Fuck. See, I don't like that. I don't like that kind of whoosh and then it goes. I also want them to be a little wavy too. Oh, I don't know. It looks pretty good straight up. Yeah, I don't like that whoosh it does. You know, it kind of spawns all of them at once, and then, you know, I want a, they're all kind of the same linear acceleration. I want to kind of give them different linear accelerations. So for the update, we can say, you know what, not 10, but not negative 10, but a random number between -8 and -14. I think we need more particles and more of a color change, you know? So let's say when we start, there's more red. So there's going to be maybe 125 on the red. And then when we end, there's a little more or a little less green. I don't know. And then I think I want this to be a little faster too. -8 to -20. Yeah, it is too purple. Let's take out that red. Too purple. We also won't fade to complete black. We'll fade to mostly transparent just because they're fading away too fast. I feel like we need more. I don't like the initial whoosh. I don't know how to fix that. Yeah, something like this for the kind of force field, right? I kind of want it to look like fire, but it should look like magic. Maybe we give it a higher... Yeah, let's give it a higher emission area. So maybe like 3 pixels of emission area. But we also set its Y to be up by 3 pixels so it doesn't spawn beneath the kind of stepping zone. Well, that's a little weird. Too tall. Let's just say 1. Oh, let's say 2. Okay. We're like 1 pixel off on the X here. Wow. Okay. Does look 1 pixel off on the X there, but we just scooted it over 1 pixel and then it screwed up the other side. Okay, yeah, I mean... I think I'm just misunderstanding how this emission area is working. Okay, yeah. I think it was that second argument being a 1 was screwing us up. I thought that was the Y, but I don't think it is the Y. Okay, that looks flush. Okay. Cool. Okay, so ideally, you know, we only trigger this when he walks up. So we're going to do it right here. And then we're only going to render an update in the step 9. So now it should look decent. So if we walk up here, you know, tester dialog, because we're still testing it. Cool. So the vignette looks good. The dialog box renders over the vignette. Then the dialog continues. And he says, when you're ready for your next lesson, he walks up and then he triggers the force field. And then we need to change. So one thing that is tough. Yo, Rough Cookie, what's up? Yo, cool emotes, man. What's the fire from? That's awesome. Oh, global. Oh, sweet. Gosh, my allergies are killing me. Okay, so one bad thing about this is if we want our player to walk, our player should be able to walk in the cinematic state. Actually, no, it isn't. Yeah. It's almost like we need another state for our player, which no, we've already got it, right? It should be this character, character change state idle. So the issue, one issue is, oh man, this is bad. Yeah, this is bad. I think we need to trigger this. Oh man. I don't know how we can do this smartly. Because the issue is, well, one, our player, we're not letting our player do input right now because we're in the Mage intro top trigger cinematic. If we change our player to walk state or idle state, it should allow us to do the inputs, but that's not working. And then the other issue is we have this particle system, but it's being updated, defined, and rendered in this Mage intro top trigger. So even if we were able to move our character here in the cinematic, our player doesn't have access to collision detection, because that's within... No, that should be within the scene. Okay, we might be okay for that. But in step 9, we change our player's state to a player idle. So we should be able to update our player at that point in time with an input. Are we paused by any chance? I don't think so. Because the way we do this for the other part of the cinematic is we change our play state, we change our global state machine to play state, which then updates. I would think we can stay, I would think we can stay in cinematic because we had to trigger this change state to player cinematic to prevent our character from being movable in the cinematic state. So we know that works. It's just that when we change it to player idle. Okay, so let's try this where let's just see if we change it to walk. Walk will go back to idle if there's no inputs, but we should be able to trigger a walk in step 9. So let's pretend that we're in step 9 at this point. Let's see if we can move. We can move. Okay, so we can move in a step 9. So why is it? Yeah, we wouldn't want to change the animation to idle up. Because we should be already in an idle up, yeah. But then we change our state to player walk. Okay, let's see if we get walking back. Okay, we do have walking back. We don't have the right animations because we're always changing to what? We're always step 9. Are we not updating our player? No, we have to be. We're walking. But changing a state, oh, player idle. It's almost like we keep changing to a player idle state every frame. Yeah, it's almost like, I don't know. I feel like we should be walking like normal. Because the state machine we're in from idle to walk is handling the animation and stuff. So either, oh, see, look, and then we can't walk here. We hit step 9. We hit step 9. It changes state to player idle, which should just listen for movement. Because look, until we have, yeah, we'll change the state to a player walk if we have an output list. And then we also, if we have an output list, we do our change animation to the walking direction. This looks wrong actually. If we have output list, we're gonna say push. Why are we doing that? Player idle state. This is really weird. This is like a player. We should change this to player walk. Why are we changing the animations table here to push? Okay, I don't know. But we are changing. You know, we're refreshing our current animation. If we have a value in our input list, okay. We'll change to walk again and see. Oh, we've got it. Okay, we can move it. Okay, so this is good because we're rendering our... Oops, we triggered the cinematic again, which is very fucked up shit. Yeah, we need to prevent that. So we haven't got... Actually, yeah, how did we trigger the cinematic without pressing T? Because that's how we have it. It should trigger if we go up there. But we have it at a T press. Okay. Okay, so we need to figure out a couple things, right? We need to do essentially the same thing if... Wow, okay, yeah, that's checked up. At least we're getting walking back at this point, but we should change animation right here. Once we're done with this, we should change the player's animation to facing upwards. And the dot direction to be upwards probably. So change animation to idle up. And then direction. Okay, so the remaining issues for this is we need to trigger very similar details, but for a different cinematic for exiting out the bottom. Tasha needs to walk up, which kind of works right now because we're tweening. We could I don't know. Yeah, we could have this in one cinematic and just kind of do some Y velocity or Y position checks to determine if it's up or bottom. And we can still tween to the right Y location. It's just that, I think our music got off. Cool. Our walk back, our idle is triggering in the right direction. So the two issues we still have is we need to signal the same cinematic update if we go here, but probably walk our butts back up here at that point. And then we also need to actually trigger these cinematics not by pressing a key, but checking a Y position of our player. So that's actually a little tricky because that means, man, our music really got off, huh? It's a little tricky to add the triggers for the cinematics because we only have a way of doing it. We're in the play state by the time, like right now we're in the play state, we're not in the opening cinematic. So I guess we could do a thing. What I'm trying to avoid is adding any trigger to the bigger scene logic and say, oh, well, if our current scene is the scene with the cinematic on it, then you listen for an X and Y position to trigger any given cinematic in the table. Like I'm trying to not do that. So part of me thinks that because right now we're going from our actual opening cinematic, like from here, we're going into our castle, and this is an opening cinematic state. We don't have access to move our player. Then as soon as we do have access to move our player, we're actually still in a cinematic state here. And that's why we're not allowed to open treasure chests, because we haven't added that logic into the cinematic state. So I'm kind of thinking, and we'd have to, I say we maybe don't shift to a state machine, a play state upon this scene transition, because we did that in order to be able to interact with the things again, right? So like in order to interact with the things again, we did that. So now we can read the things when in the cinematic state we could not. But if we go up here and we trigger this secondary cinematic here, he'll do his thing. But then since we're still in the opening cinematic, we won't be able to read these library items. So like if he goes up here, we're back in walk state. We're not able to read these things because we're in a cinematic state. So I think what I need to do is add the detection for collidable dialogue objects into the cinematic. And that way we can read both. That's wrong. That way we can read both. We can open our treasure chest in the cinematic state, as well as we would just not we would not change to a play state, and we would add the dialogue box updates to the cinematic state so that we can read and interact with all these things. so that we can treat it. Then we would go, we trigger a fade to black once we leave here, and then we'll go back to a play state when we're in the overworld. And if you come back in this room, we could possibly then we would probably just stay in the play state like normal. And that means we probably do need the particle system. Shoot, see, that gets tough. I don't know. Because the particle system, I don't want the particle system to clog up our scene or map logic. So I don't want to have to say in our scene logic to say, if we're at a map 1:10:19, then go ahead and load the particle system and go ahead and update the particle system. Don't go ahead and render the particle system. I don't want that clogging down our scene. So I think I don't know. I guess at some point we kind of have to figure that out if we have other things. We've got a class for things like this, like for our weather system, for our rain, snow, and mountains and ash and whatnot. We don't have a way to trigger them on a per scene basis, mostly because I'm not so sure how they get spawned, how they get updated. We'd have to render the move to position at an adjacent offset so that it moves with the screen here, right? And then also it only renders the one at the current dialogue system, the current particle system table for the current scene. So we have to at least do that for other reasons, like our weather system or particle system for the rest of the game. So we should probably do that. We'll put the particle system into a table for the scene. We'll update any particle system in the scene. We probably need a class then, because an update for the particle system is multiple values and it's not just running the update function on it. So we might need a class for a thing like this mage protective wall and have it be its own particle object. Therefore we can just update it or transfer the render on a scene transition and or clear the particle system if we finish shifting and it's off screen from the old current map. God, we've got so much stuff left still. We got so much stuff. Yeah, we're still not done with the cinematic, which is really kind of killing me. It's almost March 10th, so this is kind of a bummer. It's looking much better than it was. I'm glad we took the time to do it. It makes a lot more sense to have it here. There's just so many more things to think about. The other thing we could do is just add a collidable object with a dialog box, and it just says like you're not allowed to go upstairs. If we really didn't want to have to redo the particle systems, but we have to do it anyway, because if you go to the ice mountain, we want snow flowing. If you go to the desert, we want sand flowing. If you go to the volcano area, we want the ash raining. So we need to figure a way to do this. Yo, Scrinch. Yo, it's going okay. I mean, I'm really tired, so I'm gonna call it here. But we need to do. We got most of the opening cinematic here working for. Thanks, Squinch. Yeah, we don't have collision on it just yet, but we've got. We'll have to put better dialogue in here, but we've got the show off right here where he gets the element, and then Mage walks up and kind of says, "I've got important work to do. I'll come find you when you're ready for your next lesson," sort of deal. And then the particles go there. We need to add the barrier, which is going to be a little difficult, but all we have to really do is add a collidable object of a tile size to that location and only populate it once Mage walks up there. Then we at least can't collide with it. Right now it's all busted and re-triggers that, which I'm actually really, I don't know why it does that, but we need to figure a way to trigger the cinematic based on the location and the scene, and that's actually going to be easy if we remain in the opening cinematic state and not the play state. So I think that's the move. So we just have to, we'll do that for tomorrow. I'll leave that in our notes here. For tomorrow, we're going to do, what do I have next? No? Next episode, right? Right here. Okay, we're going to do, we need to move dialogue box collidables into the cinematic state. And then we need to add collision to the barrier. And then we need to store scene particle systems in scene table, scene particle system table. We need to render P system at scenes adjacent offset so that the particles walk off screen when we walk off screen, or walk on screen when we walk on screen. And then we also need to, I want to figure out why the particles kind of like jump into existence and it doesn't look very smooth. So like maybe there's like a new type of way we can instantiate it, or maybe we have the particle system running and we're just not seeing the alpha for it until it's on. That would fix, because look right here. See how they kind of like, there's like a random burst of them and then they're constant. So I'm kind of thinking that, if we can't figure out what's causing that, we could just update them over time and we just can't see them. There's no, I guess it would be a little wasteful to be updating a particle system before you can see it, but it could fix that issue. So if we can't find anything, we can do something like that. And we could have it where we just trigger at the frame or the step before we need them and change the opacity. And then when we need to see it, we can just fade in the opacity. So we could figure something out. This has been an issue in most of the things I've done particle systems on. I think it's just how Lua kind of, I don't know if I've just been doing it wrong the whole time, but like, I think it's just like on the very first frame of the particle system, it just takes the emission rate and just dumps the entire emission rate. Yo, Squidge, I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like it has something to do with the emission rate, and then once it gets going, after the life cycle ends, then they start spawning at the even rates. But until they're all spawned and until they die at different rates, we don't get the smooth trickling. So I think it's something to do with the life cycle of the particle and the emission rate. Because the first time it's there, it just dumps all of them all at once, because they all have the same starting life cycle. And then until they die at different times, do we get the kind of offset of them being smooth. So we'll figure that out. And then, yeah, it'll be easy to trigger, I'm half tempted. Yeah, I don't think we should write a new cinematic state for for the downwards collision, for the downwards exit. So like if we walk down here, we need to do the same thing. I mean, we could do the same tween. We could do the same tween. We could do the same tween. It might look a little weird. All we have to do is once we trigger the opening cinematic, or actually once we trigger step 2 or whatever it is, we can just say, okay, quickly, let's check our Y position. Did we trigger it from the top or the bottom? If we trigger it from the top, let's tween our value like normal, but we're going to change our walk animation down. If we trigger it on the bottom one, change our walk animation up. And we could do that. And then we could do the first step is just negating a tile or two of Y position so that we don't accidentally tween through the wall here, because if we trigger it here, our Y, our X tween gets pulled through the wall just a little bit. So that'll be easy. Then we can keep it as one cinematic, and then we'll have to get the final text too. So we'll add that here, and we'll say add better mage text for open, because it's still kind of for testing. We took out a bunch of lines so that it's not so long to cycle through it. But I'm super tired. We got a chunk of it worked out. We've got a good game plan for tomorrow. I'm gonna see if I can stream a little longer tomorrow since I'm off. I might do a during the day stream for a little while, so we'll see how that goes. And then I'm still working on the touch detection with the new baton library. I'm trying to get, like, I want the D-pad of the Game Boy buttons to look like they're being pressed, and the A button and B button when you press them, just to give some user feedback, as well as the red dot, just so that it knows so that you can tell it's triggering your touch. Since there's no haptic or real feedback, no tactile feedback on the touch screen, I like the visual feedback so that I can see I'm pressing up and to the right or just up, or I'm pressing the A button or B button or start button. So I'm still working on that. I'm making sure it scales to all virtual resolutions so that when we port to iOS and stuff, that works fine. But we've got the frame rate issues fixed, and the touch detection is looking like we've got it properly mapped to baton, so I'm excited about that. So it should be a lot smoother going for the future of the game for mobile and the web deployment, so I'm super stoked about that. But I'm feeling the crunch for the demo for sure. You know, we've only got 2 weeks and some change. I guess we got 3 weeks. Yeah, we got 3 weeks and some change to finish the demo, so it's going to be crunch, but we should be okay. All right. Yeah, we'll get push. We'll call it a night. We'll run credits here. I'm super tired, but glad we streamed today, and I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully a longer stream. But thanks for hanging out, Squinch. I'll catch you tomorrow or whenever you stop in again. And then, yo, Brightside, I didn't know you were lurking over here. Thanks for hanging, homie. Yeah, we'll find someone to raid out to, and then yeah, we'll just call it a night here. The game's coming together. I'm excited. Yo. Yeah, you know me. Yeah, we'll raid out to Jed. He's always seems to be streaming this hour, so since Brightside's not streaming, we'll raid out to Jed here and call it a night. Nice, man. Yeah, you have a good night too, man. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I'm happy with it, man. It's like, yeah, it's going well. It's going well. You know, this is by far the biggest project I've ever tried in game development. It was probably borderline too ambitious for me to do, but right in that stretch zone of not knowing what the heck I'm doing, but still could figure it out. So I think the Game Boy game was a good choice for us because we don't have to worry too much about crazy optimization stuff. It's all 2D. It's fairly simple. We just have to worry about data management and flow, all of that good stuff. So I'm excited. It's been a good journey. I'm gonna do my damnedest to finish the demo by April 1st, and then we'll get the Steam page up, and the website deployment will have a full playable demo that works on mobile. So I'm super stoked about that. Everything's coming together. So yeah, have a good night, y'all. Catch you later. Peace out.